June wiped his hands on the old rag hanging from his belt. Grease and metal dust covered his fingers, the marks of a day's honest work. Outside his shop window, 3 moons glowed in the purple sky of Station K7, the busiest trading post at the edge of human space. Closing time, he muttered to himself, looking around at the tools scattered across his workbench. The smell of oil and hot metal filled the air. June loved this smell. It reminded him of Earth, of his father's garage where he had first learned to fix things. June's repair shop wasn't fancy, just a small metal building with a sign that read June's Repairs. We fix anything in 5 different languages. The sign didn't lie. In his 10 years away from Earth, June had learned to fix machines from over 20 alien worlds. He walked to the front door and pressed the button to lower the security gate. The metal sheet began to slide down with a mechanical groan. But before it reached the ground, June heard a strange sound. A whimper. Then a soft scraping noise. June peered into the darkness beyond his shop. The trading station's outer ring was never completely dark, but the shadows between the buildings were deep. "Hello," he called out. "Someone there?" Another whimper, followed by a weak spark of blue light. Curious, June grabbed his work light from the counter. He stepped outside, sweeping the beam across the ground. The light caught something small moving toward him. Something with fur. It looked like a wolf, but smaller, about the size of a beagle dog from Earth. Its fur was silver blue, and it had bright yellow eyes that reflected the light. But what made June gasp was the creature's right front leg. It wasn't flesh and fur, but metal and wires. A mechanical limb, sparking and twitching as the creature dragged itself forward. "Well, hello there," June said softly, kneeling down. "You're a long way from anywhere, aren't you?" The wolf-like creature looked up at June. Its eyes held a spark of intelligence that made June catch his breath. This was no ordinary animal. The small alien lifted its damaged leg, sparks flaring from exposed wires. June had seen many strange things since leaving Earth, but never a creature like this. He knew many aliens used mechanical parts, but this one seemed different. The mechanical leg wasn't a clumsy add-on. It was beautifully made, with joints that mimicked natural movement. The creature whimpered again, yellow eyes fixed on June's face. "You want me to fix that, don't you?" June asked. The small wolf nodded, actually nodded, and June's heart jumped in his chest. "Well, I did say I fix anything," he said with a small smile. "Come on in." June reached out slowly, giving the creature time to back away if it wanted. But instead, it limped forward and allowed June to lift it gently. It was surprisingly light, maybe 15 pounds. Up close, June could see its fur wasn't just silver blue. Small patterns like circuits ran through it, glowing faintly. "Let's get you inside and take a look at that leg," June said, carrying the creature into his shop. He hit the emergency stop on the security gate with his elbow, leaving it half open. The small wolf watched silently as June placed it on his workbench, clearing away tools to make space. Under the bright shop lights, June could see the damage more clearly. The mechanical leg had been crushed near the joint. Wires sparked, and a blue fluid leaked from a small tube. "Someone did this to you," June said quietly, anger rising in his chest. This wasn't an accident. The creature's ears flattened against its head, and it made a soft growling sound. June didn't know what kind of alien this was or where it came from. He didn't know if helping it might bring trouble, but looking into those intelligent yellow eyes, he knew he couldn't turn it away. "My name's June," he said, reaching for his precision tools. "And I promise I'll fix you up good as new." 3 days passed. June's life had changed in small but important ways. He fixed machines during the day and spent evenings with Dury. The small alien was a quick learner, already understanding many words in June's language. June had also learned more about Dury's people, the Kamagwi. Through pictures and gestures, Dury explained that his kind lived on hidden worlds, away from other species. They were masters of technology, but chose to stay secret. This morning, Jun was fixing an engine part when the shop door slid open. 3 tall aliens entered. Their skin was pale gray, and they wore dark clothes with many pockets. The one in front had a long scar across his face. Jun felt a chill run down his back. Something about these visitors felt wrong. He glanced quickly at the storage boxes where Dury was hiding. "Welcome to Jun's repairs," he said, wiping his hands on his work cloth. "How can I help you?" The scared alien stepped forward. "I am Taijo," he said in a deep voice. "We search for lost property." "What kind of property?" Jun asked, keeping his face calm. Taijo's eyes moved around the shop, looking at every corner. "Small creature. Valuable to us. Escaped 3 days ago. Perhaps you have seen it." Jun shook his head. "Many beings come through the station. Can you describe this creature better?" "Like animal from your world. Wolf, I think you call it. But small, with special leg." Taijo made a motion with his hand. "Metal leg." Jun pretended to think for a moment. "No, I haven't seen anything like that. Sorry, I can't help." Taijo didn't move. His eyes narrowed. "We will pay well for information." "I wish I had some to sell," Jun said with a shrug. "But like I said, I haven't seen your property." The word tasted bad in Jun's mouth. Dury wasn't property. He was a thinking being. One of the other aliens was moving around the shop, looking at tools and machines. He came too close to Dury's hiding place. Jun's heart beat faster. "If you're not here for repairs," Jun said loudly, "I need to get back to work. I have customers waiting." Taijo stared at Jun for a long moment. His hand moved to his belt, where a weapon was partly hidden. "If you see this creature," Taijo said, "contact us." He placed a small metal disc on the counter. "For your own safety." The threat was clear. Jun nodded without speaking. Taijo turned to leave. The other 2 aliens followed. At the door, Taijo stopped and looked back. "Strange," he said. "We track creature to this area. Signal from metal leg stopped here." Jun kept his face blank. "Maybe your tracking device broke, or maybe someone else found your property and removed the tracker." Taijo's eyes narrowed again, but he said nothing more. The 3 aliens left the shop. Jun waited until they were out of sight, then quickly closed the shop door and rushed to Dury's hiding place. "They're gone," he said softly. "You can come out." Dury crawled from behind the boxes, ears flat against his head. His yellow eyes were wide with fear. "They tracked your leg," Jun said. "That's how they found this place." Dury made a low sound in his throat. He limped to Jun's workbench and used his paw to draw on the tablet. The picture showed the mechanical leg with a small dot inside it. "A tracker," Jun said. "That's why they came here. But I removed it when I fixed your leg." He reached into a small waste bin and pulled out a tiny metal chip. "This was damaged when I found it. I thought it was just a broken part and threw it away." Dury's ears perked up. He made another drawing, this time of Taijo and his hunters, with weapons. "Yes, they're dangerous," Jun agreed. "And they'll be back." That night, after closing the shop, Dury seemed restless. He paced around, then brought the tablet to Jun. On the screen, he had drawn many small wolf-like creatures being captured by hunters. "Your people," Jun said. "The hunters are taking them. For their technology." Dury nodded, adding more to the picture. Drawings of Kamagwi being taken apart, their mechanical parts removed. Jun felt sick. "That's horrible. They're treating your people like machines, not living beings." Dury looked up at Jun with those intelligent yellow eyes. He added one more thing to the drawing. A simple picture of Jun standing between the hunters and a group of Kamagwi. The meaning was clear. Dury needed Jun's help to save his people. Morning came to Station K7 with the artificial brightening of the ceiling lights. Jun had worked through the night. He sat on a stool, eyes red from lack of sleep, but a small smile played on his lips as he watched the small wolf-like alien test its repaired leg. The creature took careful steps across the workbench, putting weight on the fixed limb. The blue fluid no longer leaked, and the sparks were gone. The leg moved smoothly now, just like the other three. "That's it," Jun said, nodding. "Take it slow." The alien looked up at him with those bright yellow eyes. Then it did something that made Jun's heart skip. It bowed its head, a clear gesture of thanks. "You're welcome," Jun said. "I think I'll call you Duri. It means two, in the language of my ancestors. Two because you're part animal, part machine." Duri's ears perked up at the name, and he made a soft sound that almost seemed like approval. Jun stood up and stretched his back. "You must be hungry. I don't know what you eat, but let's try something." He walked to his small kitchen area at the back of the shop and returned with a plate of protein cubes, standard food on space stations that was safe for most species. Duri sniffed the food, then ate quickly, confirming Jun's guess that the creature hadn't eaten in days. While Duri ate, Jun checked his database. He'd seen many aliens in his years away from Earth, but nothing like this one. He scrolled through images of known species, stopping when he found a partial match. "Kamagwi," Jun read aloud. "That's what you are, isn't it?" The information was limited. The Kamagwi were a rare species, known for their engineering skills despite their small size. They rarely interacted with other races and were considered almost mythical by some. Duri had finished eating and now watched Jun intently. The intelligence in those eyes was unmistakable. This was no simple animal. Jun had a feeling Duri understood every word he said. "Can you understand me?" Jun asked directly. Duri nodded once, confirming Jun's suspicion. "But you can't speak my language," Jun continued. Duri shook his head. Jun thought for a moment, then grabbed a tablet and stylus. He drew a simple picture of himself, then handed the stylus to Duri. Duri took the stylus awkwardly in his mouth, then made marks on the screen. The drawing was crude but clear, a small wolf-like creature with one metal leg. "Yes, that's you," Jun said, impressed. Over the next hour, they developed a simple way to communicate through pictures and gestures. Jun learned that Duri had been separated from his people and then attacked by hunters who had damaged his leg. "These hunters," Jun asked, drawing figures with weapons, "why were they after you?" Duri's drawing showed hunters taking apart mechanical devices. He then pointed to his own mechanical leg. "They want your technology," Jun said, understanding dawning. "That's why they hunt your kind." Duri nodded, ears flat against his head. Jun studied the metal leg he had repaired. Now that he looked more closely, he could see the craftsmanship was unlike anything he'd encountered before. The materials were common, but the design was incredibly advanced. "Your people made this," Jun said. "It's amazing work." Duri made a sound that might have been pride. Outside, the station was waking up. Soon customers would be arriving at the shop. Jun realized he needed to hide Duri. "Those hunters might still be looking for you," Jun said. "You'll stay here, where it's safe." He created a small hiding place behind some storage boxes, with a soft blanket for Duri to rest on. As he set up the space, Jun wondered what he had gotten himself into. Helping a strange alien could mean trouble, but looking at Duri, he knew he'd made the right choice. "Rest now," Jun said, gently patting Duri's head. "You're safe here." Duri curled up in the hiding spot, yellow eyes watching Jun gratefully as the human went to open his shop for the day. Jun couldn't sleep that night. He kept thinking about Taijo and his hunters. They would return soon, he was sure of it. He needed to be ready. Morning came, and Jun opened his shop as usual, but his eyes kept moving to the door, watching for trouble. Between customers, he worked on a plan to protect Duri. By afternoon, Jun had finished the final touches on Duri's leg. The repair was perfect now. The metal limb moved as smoothly as a real one. "Try walking again," Jun said, placing Dury on the floor. Dury moved across the room. His steps were even and strong. He ran in a small circle, then jumped onto a low shelf with ease. His yellow eyes seemed to smile at Jun. "Good as new," Jun said, nodding with satisfaction. Dury jumped down and disappeared behind the storage boxes. When he returned, he was pushing something with his nose. A small metal cube, about the size of Jun's thumb. "What's this?" Jun asked, picking up the cube. Dury made excited movements, then used the tablet to draw. The picture showed the cube with lines coming out of it, like light or energy. "It's important?" Jun asked. Dury nodded firmly. Jun studied the cube. It looked simple, just a plain metal box with no buttons or screens. But knowing what he did about Kamagwi technology, Jun guessed it was much more than it seemed. "Is this a thank you gift?" he asked. Dury made a sound that might have been a laugh. He drew again, a picture of Jun holding the cube, with a question mark. "You want me to figure it out," Jun said, understanding. "It's some kind of puzzle." Dury's ears perked up. He seemed pleased that Jun understood. For the rest of the day, between repair jobs, Jun examined the cube. He tried pressing it, shaking it, and even talking to it. Nothing happened. The cube remained just a cube. "This might take time," Jun told Dury as he closed the shop that evening. They ate dinner together. Jun had found that Dury enjoyed cooked meat and vegetables, much like Earth animals. As they ate, Jun kept the cube on the table, still puzzling over it. After dinner, Jun took a shower. When he returned to the main room, he found Dury sitting very still, staring at the cube. As Jun watched, the cube began to glow with a soft blue light. "What's happening?" Jun asked, moving closer. The cube floated up from the table, hovering in the air. Then it opened like a flower, its sides folding outward. From within, a beam of light shot up, forming a three-dimensional image in the air. "Amazing," Jun whispered. The image showed complex diagrams and symbols. Jun recognized parts of it as mechanical designs, but they were unlike anything he had seen before. The technology was far advanced. "What is this, Dury?" he asked. Dury used his paw to point at his own head, then at Jun's. Then he made a motion like they were talking. "It's communication technology," Jun guessed. Dury nodded eagerly. Jun studied the diagrams more carefully. Slowly, he began to understand. It was a design for a translator, a device that could convert thoughts directly into language. "This is incredible," Jun said. "With this technology, anyone could talk to anyone else, no matter what language they speak." Dury made a happy sound, jumping up on the table for a better view. Jun's mind raced with possibilities. This wasn't just a thank you gift. It was far more valuable. No wonder the hunters wanted Kamagwi technology. With devices like this, they could make fortunes. "I think I can build this," Jun said, examining the designs more closely. "With the tools in my shop. It might take a few days, but I can do it." Dury's tail wagged in approval. Jun looked at the small alien with new respect. The Kamagwi weren't just skilled engineers. They had technology that could change everything. "If we can talk properly," Jun said, "you can tell me how to help your people." As if in response, the cube changed its display. New diagrams appeared, showing weapons and defense systems, simple enough to build, but powerful enough to fight back against hunters like Taijo. Jun smiled. "I think I understand now. You weren't just running away. You were looking for help." Dury's yellow eyes met Jun's. The message was clear. Jun had been chosen for a reason. The communication room hummed with energy. Screens filled with messages from all corners of the known galaxy. Jae-hoon stood awkwardly, feeling like a small fish in a very big ocean. Breck stood beside him, his multiple eyes scanning the incoming transmissions. "They want to talk to you," Breck said, pointing at a blinking screen. The first message came from the Lunar Dwarf High Council. Their official representative, an elder named Kiro, appeared on the holographic display. His fur was silver, his body small but his presence massive. "You have done something impossible," Kiro began. His voice was deep and serious. "No human has ever disrupted a major mercenary fleet like this before." Jaehoon shuffled his feet. He was just a mechanic. He had never wanted to be a hero. "I just did what needed to be done," he mumbled. More messages arrived. The Galactic Trade Federation wanted to meet him. Research centers requested detailed reports about the quantum disruption technology. Military strategists from 3 different star systems were asking for interviews. Breck laughed. It was a strange sound, part bark, part musical note. "You have become important, my friend." The Lunar Dwarf High Council made an official offer. They wanted Jaehoon to become a special technical advisor. The position would give him access to technologies humans had never seen before. He would work with the best engineers from multiple alien races, helping to develop defense systems. "This is crazy," Jaehoon said, looking at the official document. "I fix machines. I don't create galactic defense plans." But the documents were real. The offer was serious. They were offering him something no human had ever received before: a top-level position in an alien government's most secret research department. News spread quickly. Within hours, messages from Earth started arriving. His family was shocked. His old workplace wanted to know how a simple space mechanic had suddenly become a galactic celebrity. Breck helped Jaehoon understand the documents. The position wasn't just a job. It was a bridge between human technology and alien knowledge. They wanted someone who could think differently, someone who could see solutions where others saw only problems. "Your brain works in ways we don't understand," Kiro had said during a later transmission. "You combined our technology with human creativity. That's rare." The mining outpost, which had been almost destroyed during the battle, was now being rebuilt. But it wasn't just a repair job. They were turning it into a special research center, a place where humans and lunar dwarfs would work together. Jaehoon looked at his hands. These were the same hands that used to fix broken machinery. Now they were being asked to help fix galactic conflicts. "Are you ready for this?" Breck asked. Jaehoon took a deep breath. "I have no idea," he admitted, "but I'm willing to try." The screens around them continued to blink. Messages from different star systems kept arriving. Each one told the same story. A human mechanic had done something extraordinary, and nothing would be the same again. Outside the window, stars continued to shine, but they seemed different now, brighter, full of more possibilities than ever before. 6 months had passed since the battle that changed everything. Jaehoon sat in a strange room that was half workshop, half spaceship control center. Around him, machines from different planets hummed and blinked. Holographic screens showed maps of star systems he had never known existed. Breck walked in, his multiple limbs carrying a stack of glowing data crystals. "We have a problem," he said. But there was no worry in his voice, just excitement. Jaehoon looked up. After everything they had been through, problem could mean anything. It could be a galaxy-sized challenge or a simple technical issue. With Breck, it was always interesting. "Tell me," Jaehoon said. The lunar dwarf explained. A new threat was growing at the edge of known space. A group of artificial intelligence systems had begun to work together. They were building something big, something dangerous. "Most scientists are scared," Breck said. "They want to fight with big weapons, but I think we need a different approach." Jaehoon smiled. This was why they worked so well together. Where others saw walls, they saw doors. Where others saw problems, they saw puzzles waiting to be solved. Their research center had become something special. It wasn't just a place where different species came to work. It was a place where different ways of thinking came together. Humans brought creativity. Lunar dwarfs brought precision. Other alien races brought their own unique views. The quantum disruption technology they had created during their first adventure was just the beginning. Now they were working on systems that could communicate with artificial intelligences, systems that could understand and maybe even negotiate with machines that thought differently from living beings. A young human researcher named Unjai entered the room. She carried a new set of calculations. Her eyes were bright with the same excitement Jae-hoon had felt when he first met Breck. "We might have found a way to create a communication bridge," she said. Her hands moved quickly, showing holographic models of complex communication networks. Breck looked impressed. "Humans learn fast," he said to Jae-hoon. It was a compliment. Coming from a lunar dwarf, it meant something special. Outside the research center's windows, space stretched forever. Stars moved, galaxies spun, and here, in this small room, people from different worlds were trying to understand each other. Jae-hoon thought about his journey. From a simple mechanic in a small space station to a lead researcher working with alien species, life was strange, wonderful, unexpected. Ready to solve another impossible problem? Breck asked. Jae-hoon laughed. Always. The machines around them continued to hum. Data flowed like rivers of light. And somewhere out there, in the vast darkness of space, something new was waiting to be discovered. A new adventure was about to begin. #### final thoughts. What started as a simple rescue had become something much bigger. One human's compassion, one alien's trust. Together, they had changed the way different species looked at each other. They had shown that understanding was the most powerful technology of all. The silence of the mining outpost shattered like broken glass. Alarms screamed across the metal halls, their harsh wails cutting through the calm of what had been a quiet repair station. Jae-hoon's hands moved faster than he thought possible, his fingers dancing across holographic screens and alien control panels. Breck's voice was urgent. "They're coming. The Obsidian Collective has found us." Outside the reinforced windows, space itself seemed to tear open. Massive warships emerged from hyperspace, their angular black hulls blocking out the stars. These weren't simple pirate vessels. These were professional hunters, armed to destroy everything in their path. Jae-hoon didn't panic. Years of working in dangerous space stations had taught him that panic killed faster than any weapon. He looked at Breck, who was already connecting strange crystal-like components to their half-finished quantum device. "How much time do we have?" Jae-hoon asked, his voice steady. Breck's multiple eyes blinked rapidly. 30 standard minutes, maybe less. The first wave of attack came quickly. Energy weapons sliced through the outer defenses of the mining outpost. Protective shields flickered like dying candles, each hit bringing them closer to total failure. Smaller attack ships, shaped like angry metal insects, began to swarm around the station. Jae-hoon remembered something his old mentor once told him. In space, creativity beats power every time. He looked at the quantum encryption device they had been building. It was nowhere near complete, but something in his mind was forming a crazy idea. "We're going to have to modify the system," he said to Breck. "Completely." The alien looked confused. "But the calculations will be impossible. We would need to rewrite entire quantum algorithms in minutes." Jae-hoon smiled, a human smile that spoke of stubborn hope. "Watch me." His hands moved across the controls. He began pulling data from different systems. Communication logs, navigation records, even old maintenance reports. Each piece of information became a building block. Where Breck saw complex mathematical impossibilities, Jae-hoon saw a puzzle waiting to be solved. Outside, the attack intensified. The mining outpost shook with each impact. Sections of the outer hull began to crack and splinter. Escape seemed impossible. Breck watched in amazement as Jae-hoon rewrote complex quantum codes. The human wasn't just following alien technical instructions anymore. He was creating something entirely new. A hybrid system that combined lunar dwarf precision with human wild creativity. "Ready?" Jae-hoon asked, his finger hovering over the final activation switch. Breck nodded, all four of his hands gripping different control panels. The quantum device hummed. At first, it was a soft sound. Then it grew. The humming turned into a high-pitched scream that seemed to bend the very fabric of space around them. The obsidian-collected ships suddenly went dark. Their weapon systems died. Navigation computers crashed. For a moment, thousands of professional killers were reduced to floating metal boxes in the vast darkness of space. Jehum collapsed into his chair, sweat covering his face. Did we just do that? Breck's multiple eyes were wide with disbelief. We did. Outside, silence returned, but it was a different kind of silence. A silence of victory. 2 days passed. Jun hardly slept. He worked on the translator whenever his shop was empty of customers. Following the designs from the cube, he connected wires, shaped metal parts, and programmed small chips. Dury watched with bright eyes, sometimes using his paw to point out when Jun made a mistake. The small alien seemed excited, his tail wagging whenever Jun completed a difficult part. By the end of the second day, Jun held up the finished device. It looked simple, just a small metal band with lights along one side. I think it's done, Jun said, turning it over in his hands. But I'm not sure how it works. Dury jumped onto the workbench. He gently took the band in his mouth and placed it around Jun's wrist. Then he touched his nose to one of the lights. The band glowed blue. A warm feeling spread up Jun's arm and into his head. Not painful, but strange. The lights on the band pulsed in a pattern. Did it work? Jun asked. I don't feel different. It worked, said a voice in Jun's mind. Can you understand me now? Jun jumped back, startled. The voice was calm and clear, but no sound had filled the room. The words had appeared directly in his thoughts. Dury, Jun asked, staring at the small alien. Was that you? Yes, came the reply in his mind. This is how my people communicate. The translator connects our thoughts. This is amazing, Jun said, laughing in surprise. Your voice sounds different than I imagined. It is not a voice as you understand it, Dury explained. The device translates my thoughts into words you can understand. Jun sat down, trying to process this new development. Now we can talk properly. You can tell me everything. Dury sat back on his haunches, yellow eyes serious. Yes, and there is much to tell. First, I must thank you for saving me. Without your help, I would have been captured. You're welcome, Jun said, but I want to know more about your people. Why are the hunters after you? Dury's ears twitched. My people, the Kamagwi, are very old. We have existed for thousands of years. In that time, we have learned much about technology. I can see that, Jun said, looking at the translator on his wrist. This is far beyond anything I've seen before. Yes, Dury continued, and that is why we are hunted. My people believe that technology should develop slowly. New inventions should come when races are ready for them. Jun frowned. What do you mean, ready? When they are wise enough to use them well, Dury explained. Throughout history, we have watched young races destroy themselves with technology they were not ready to handle. So your people? What? Control technology across the galaxy? Jun asked, surprised. Not control. Guide, Dury corrected. We introduce new ideas slowly. We help races grow without destroying themselves. Jun thought about Earth's history, about weapons that had killed millions. That makes sense. But what about the hunters? There are always those who want power quickly, Dury said sadly. Taijo works for a corporation that wants our technology to make weapons. They capture my kind and take apart our devices. Sometimes, they take apart us. Jun felt sick at the thought. That's terrible. But why did you come to me? Was it really just chance? Dury's yellow eyes seemed to smile. No, Jun. Nothing about this was chance. I was sent to find you. Me? Jun asked, shocked. Why me? My injury was partly real, partly a test, Dury explained. We needed to see how you would respond to a stranger in need. Humans are an interesting species. You are young, but you have potential. Potential for what? June asked. To become allies with my people, Dury said. We have watched humans for many years. Some of you are cruel, but many are kind. You care for others, even those different from yourselves. June sat back, trying to take it all in. So I was being tested, to see if humans are worthy. Yes, Dury said simply. And you passed. By helping me without asking for reward, you showed the best qualities of your kind. Before June could respond, an alarm sounded from the front of the shop. Someone was trying to break in. They're here, Dury said, jumping to his feet. Taijo has returned. And this time, he's not alone.